I'm Weather and Radar meteorologist James West with a live look at some of the big weather stories that we have going on right now across the U.S. So the first view that we have right now is the satellite view across the northeast here. One of the things that you will see is a swirl of clouds over the Great Lakes here. Sorry, this is turning on my phone. Over the Great Lakes here. This is part of a nor'easter that's going to move off the shore later today into Tuesday, which is going to bring a big, huge travel and coastal havoc across the northeastern U.S. The other big story that we also are following on this Monday morning is another atmospheric river that will be coming into the western U.S. Over the next several days, bringing more heavy rain, more chances of flooding and mudslides across coastal and the coastal range of California, and more heavy snow across the Sierras. It's just going to increase the issues there going forward. We also have, so those are the big stories. The reason why we're seeing these big dramatic changes is that we're seeing a pretty significant change in the jet stream. One of the things we are seeing is that this low pressure is going to dip farther down across the northeast, which is going to create a nor'easter to develop on just offshore of New England, southern New England, and Cape Cod, bringing high winds and snow into those areas. And then we're seeing another dip in the jet stream for the next system that's going to move into the western U.S. And you can see with this orange right here, this orange indicates that there's a higher upper level energy associated with the system, and that is why we're going to see a lot of snow, rain and snow there as well. So looking towards the northeastern, this is more of a closer model forecast across the northeast here, and sorry, my phone keeps notifying me. Across the northeast here, so this is we're going to go look back further into the off the east coast. So the low pressure is going to develop off the mid-Atlantic, and it's going to run up the coast here. And what we see is that as the system gets really starts to get stronger and stronger across the New England area, we're going to see a lot of heavy snow move across New England, especially the Berkshires here and into the mountains of New England. And then one of the other concerns that we see here is that the strong onshore winds that are going to occur across the across New England and Cape Cod is going to bring a significant amount of wind and rain into those areas, which we'll talk about a little bit later. In fact, looking at, these are some of the snowfall totals that the National Weather Service is indicating, and all the models are actually indicating that these are pretty good forecasts, in the sense that Boston's going to see 6 to 8 inches of snow, a lot more areas of interior Massachusetts, and especially into the Berkshires of western Massachusetts into northern Connecticut. We're going to see more than a foot, maybe even close to 18 inches of snow. The temperatures are going to be very close to the freezing mark, so this is going to be a really wet, heavy snow. So it's obvious, and so we're going to see that it's going to stick to power lines and trees, which will likely cause maybe some power outages, maybe some other issues with that as well. And one of the additional things that we are also going to see with this system is the winds. As the nor'easter goes up the coast, it's going to have that onshore winds, and they're going to be very strong. We're going to see lots of high winds across Cape Cod in eastern Massachusetts. Boston's going to see wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles an hour tomorrow and into early Wednesday morning. The winds are even ashore, where we're going to see the heavy snow are going to be in the 45 to 50 mile an hour wind speeds. So that is going to be strong enough to likely cause that heavy snow to bring down some trees and maybe possibly bring down some power lines. So we have that threat of not only the snow, but also the chances of power outages in those areas. It's the same situation farther up the coast in New England, where we're going to see that strong onshore winds across the Gulf of Maine, and that's going to produce very strong, very high wave heights. So we're talking about waves that are going to be 15 to 20 feet along some of those coastal areas, and what that will cause is going to cause also a surge ashore, which will bring in some coastal flooding issues along those coastal areas as well. We're going to probably see coastal flooding potential all the way from Cape Cod all the way to the Canadian border in the northeast from these situations. So coastal residents will have to also be concerned with the high winds and the waves coming ashore, bringing the coastal dangers there as well. And then they're also going to see just as much snow along and across northern New England, with 18 to 24 inches of snow. Again, in those mountainous areas inland a little bit. These are the White Mountains west of Manchester and New Hampshire. So we will see those potentials as well for high winds and storms. For high accumulations of high accumulations of snow. And then we also have the same things for a little bit further inland as well. We will see that heavier snow in parts of eastern New York, into the Hudson Valley, and also a little bit into the mountains here in southern New York here. So we definitely is something that we'll be keeping a watch out for here across the central, across southeastern New York and southern New England as well. Now going back to the West Coast, let's just talk a little bit about the West Coast situation here. So we're having another atmospheric river come ashore. So right now, today's weather is going to be a little bit farther north. Rain and snow is going to move into into the Pacific Northwest, the coastal areas of Oregon, Washington, with some snow across the Cascades. But as we move later on into today, into tomorrow, we're going to see another low pressure system coming off the Pacific. Now this is again another atmospheric river, has a lot of tropical moisture from deep in the southern Pacific, and it's going to be tapping that, and it's just going to bring it back ashore like we saw late last week and into the weekend. And we're going to again see a lot of heavy rain move into California from all the way for every major city in California, from San Diego and Los Angeles into San Francisco. And again, a lot of heavy rain. As that heavy rain hits into the Sierra Nevadas, we're going to see a lot of heavy rains along the foothills there, and then heavy snow across the high mountain ranges. And this is again, since river levels were already running high, we're again going to see another chance for some flooding occurring across much of northern and central California. These are forecast river levels. They are projected today to go a little bit below flood stage and then return back to some flood areas. This is the Pajaro River in the San Francisco Bay area, and there's also some major flooding possibilities in other parts of California. And then the rainfall totals, we're again seeing the 2.5 inches in Los Angeles. The coastal mountains northwest of Los Angeles are going to see 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. Again, this is going to increase the chance for more flooding and probably mudslides in those areas. Same thing as we go farther down the coast in San Diego. Again, the coastal mountain areas are going to be again seeing the highest rainfall amounts, with about just over a half inch to an inch of rain occurring across many of the areas of Southern California. So just to remind you that we are covering this live throughout the next several days. We have our live blog going live on our website and on our mobile app. For the Northeast, where we will continue to update information about the weather forecast occurring across the country, across the Northeast. We also have the latest update about the Western rainfall story available on the Weather and Radar application and online on our Weather and Radar website. And one of the other things that our website and our application offers is live is forecast maps for the next 4 days, including our wind radar. This is our wind radar for we can actually navigate to tomorrow to see those high onshore winds that I was talking about earlier. Move ashore, you can animate it, and you can see the higher winds arrive with the nor'easter in New England. You can see that the winds are going to rise into the 45 mile an hour. You can see it really pull in, and you can see the streamlines, these lines showing the direction of where the wind is coming from. It's definitely you're seeing it come onshore, and onshore winds push water, produces higher waves, and it will also continue to bring those waves in and cause the coastal flooding issues across the Northeast along the coast. If you click on our weather radar here, you can see the time out the arrival of the heaviest snow. Pinks and darker pinks are the heavier snow for tomorrow. And you can see that it's really heavy snow. You can see that the temperatures are just slightly above freezing, or these temperatures will probably drop a little bit below freezing as the snow is falling. But with temperatures in those low 30s, those 32, 33 degree temperature ranges, that often means that the snow is going to be very wet, and so it's going to be very sticky to trees and power lines, and that's what will cause the issues with possible power outages when you add in the winds as well. And then we can use this map to go much further away, and you can navigate to the west coast to see that when to time out the rain for tomorrow arriving across the western U.S. So this is a very, very tool, and this map is absolutely free. It's available on our Weather and Radar application and also on our Weather and Radar website. So please check it out. There is one question I saw about Binghamton. Binghamton is on that area where it could get a small amount of snow, or it could get a fair amount of snow. So I'm going to pull up their website, the Binghamton website, just kind of give you an idea, since I haven't really had a chance to specifically look at Binghamton, so I'm going to defer to the Weather Service website. And what their storm forecasts are showing is an 8 to 12 inch snowfall occurring in that area. And of course, we have a little bit higher snowfall levels farther north into where the colder air is going to be, and where that wraparound moisture on the nor'easter will occur. So there could be areas that get see more than a foot of snow in those areas. So hopefully I answered your question, Chris, about how much snow you will receive. The chat line is open for a little bit. I'm going to leave it open for a couple more minutes if there's any questions. Otherwise, we'll end this live at that point and go from there. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Be sure to check out all of our coverage live on our Weather and Radar app. Make sure you have your notifications turned on to get the latest information about any severe weather that is in your area. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.